See, that was actually pretty easy, and I just didn't. My brain didn't brain. Imagine people playing this, they will rage so much. Well, here's the thing, though. There's going to be some puzzles that are pretty hard. We will do our best to give people a lot of alternatives to go and other things to go do and think about and make progress on if they're stuck, right? Like we did in The Witness, but even more so because there's more stuff in this game. And the thing about this game is it is really I don't know how to put what it is. It's going to be the biggest, largest, coherent collection of ideas shipped in a game ever, I think. And people will appreciate that. Like, there have been games with a lot of levels in them, right? And I'm sure there have been games, like I think N Plus even had a lot of levels. I don't know if it had 1,000. It might have had 1,000. And I'm sure there are video games that had like 5,000, like, I don't know, but there are probably 5,000 crappy levels, right? In this game, it's going to be in the neighborhood of, well, it's 750 right now, but it might be, close to 1,000 in the end. Who knows? But it's going to be 1,000 levels, all with really interesting ideas that are arranged in a way that helps you really appreciate the fabric of those ideas and the way that they interlock. And just nothing at that scale will have ever been done before, right? It's really going to be like, people will appreciate that, I think, even if they rage a little bit sometimes. What made me think of that? Well, the concept is even a little bit different from what I said. What I just said is more like, is kind of like a side effect of the core concept, right? Is it going to, yeah, it's going to be divided by regions that are mostly coherent in terms of what you play in that area and that you can remember sort of what's in what area for sure. You've done enough Braid in The Witness to get it. Yeah, I mean, if you think about like Braid is kind of small and focused. Witness is bigger and sometimes focused, but many more pieces of focused things put together into a bigger cluster. This is like one step bigger than The Witness in terms of how much stuff is in it. Like if you just take raw puzzle count right now, it's not that much bigger than The Witness yet in terms of raw count. But that count in The Witness counts a lot of things that are just like trivial puzzles almost, right? That take you, 10 seconds. And like the levels in this game on the easy side never quite get that trivial. And on the hard side, or on the large size, some of these levels, like some of the levels are just 8 hours of gameplay by themselves. And not because you're stuck, but because there's 8 hours of things to do in that level. Like it's nuts, dude. So that's what we're working on. Did I set out wanting this game to be so ambitious? No. No. I also didn't set out to misspell Direcaton. How many people do I think will actually finish the game? Depends how many people play the game. Does it take me 8 hours to complete them knowing how to do the puzzle? No. I mean, some of these bigger levels, if I know how to do everything, I might be able to do the level in like 20 minutes, maybe if I rush through it. But there's a big difference between knowing exactly how to do everything and like kind of knowing everything and not knowing anything at all. Has that 8 hour level been shown on stream? There's more than one, and yes. And don't take the 8 hours too seriously. Like, of course, if you're really good at puzzles, it might be faster and whatever. And I'm not saying that to coherently quantify or make a promise that there are levels that will take you that long. I'm just saying I'm using that as sort of an upper bound. Like in The Witness, if I were to say you're going to spend 8 hours on one of these puzzles in the game, that would just mean that you were mostly stuck and probably frustrated on that puzzle, right? Because there's not really individual puzzles in that game that have like hours of interesting content by themselves. There are areas that have hours of interesting content because of the way that things interrelate or whatever. But if you're doing like one panel in the Witness, it's just not that big by itself. And that's what I'm saying is in this game, there are some things that are that big. And so if you count the number of levels versus the number of puzzles in the Witness, it's not an apples to apples comparison. That's all I was trying to say there. How many people are designing levels? There have been a number of people who contributed. Right now, there's one person who is not me doing the majority of design right now because I'm just doing a lot of programming and stuff. I have designed a lot of levels in the game. We started this game by basing it on level designs of some other designers. And so there were 3 other contributors before even day one. And then we've had a few like interns and other people come by. There are a couple people on stream who contributed levels. I actually don't remember how many. There's at least like 6 or 7 totally random viewers who were logged on one day or in chat when we did level design streams and who get co-credits in those levels for suggesting the idea that makes the levels better. And that's fun. So, it's the levels in this game are more collaborative than past projects were. What is the biggest map? There is a map that's like 250 squares across. I think that's the biggest one. But that's rare. Almost nothing is that big. Like we don't try to make big maps for the sake of having big maps in this game,